Like, I don't know, like a town hall or like some shops. Like a, I don't know, anything. I don't want to come up with all the ideas because what I want to do is to maybe get you guys to think about what I might build in this little skyscraper of ours, considering that it's, you know, like a village, except vertical. So like, what kind of stuff would you guys build? And it's, as always, like when I ask for ideas, I usually can't build everything because, you know, a lot of people will give ideas. But it's interesting just to discuss and talk about it and think about it. Even if I don't end up using your idea, you know, it's still interesting and useful, I think, to think about possibilities. So we are at y equals 130, so we're already above. You can barely see the crystal tower there. If I turn this way, you can see it. So we're actually taller than the top block of the crystal tower already. So imagine 3 times as high as this is going to be the final height of the tower. Yeah. Okay, next one is 145. Yes, 145. Another thing that I need to think about is vertical circulation. I mean, obviously a staircase is a simple one, but since this thing is so big, I want to try out like a piston elevator or a piston escalator. I've seen vertical elevators made of pistons. I don't know if I want a vertical one or if I want like an escalator sort of thing that kind of pushes you diagonally up maybe. That might be more interesting from my perspective. It might also be easy to use because the vertical one, you kind of have to stand in the middle and all that. Like there's certain things you have to be careful about when you use it. Whereas I think with the escalator you can make it pretty much foolproof. If you just push, you know, the person in one direction across and up, like you don't have to do any tricky things to get that to work. So, oh damn, I missed one. So I might do that. I haven't figured out how to do it yet though, but it shouldn't be too difficult. So yeah, anyway, I'll just keep building, and if I think of anything else, I guess I'll talk about it. So is that kind of clear? I don't know if I'm kind of building and talking at the same time, and that usually means that I'm not thinking as clearly. So we're gonna find ourselves a villager, bring him here, have him and his new family live in this tower. And it's going to be a vertical village. And we need to figure out what to build here. Did I put a torch? Yes, I did, okay. So 146, 161 is the next one. And I guess part of the ideas thing is what to do between the bridge and the foundation as well as the plinth. Like often people don't think about landscaping stuff. Like they think about buildings, but they don't think about the stuff in between buildings. That's a common mistake for people who aren't trained in architecture or urban design or things like that. Like they'll think about the object, but not everything else surrounding the object. And when in fact, you know, the stuff surrounding the object is usually just as important. but because it's not the main focus, people just forget about it, which is not the smart thing to do. What was I saying? 161. Yeah, so I mean, a part of this is, oops, don't go too high. So part of thinking about ideas of what to do in the tower is not just the tower itself, but also, the areas around the tower. 161, oops. We're here already. Yeah, like every time I try to talk and build at the same time, I just lose my attention. It's 161, yeah, that's right. Uh, 161, and then the next one. So imagine if every one of those, except for the very outer layer, every one of those is the same tower as this, and then in between them, at each of these levels, there'll be like beams joining them together, so it'll just be one giant grid, one giant three-dimensional grid going up into the sky. What are we doing now? 165, 177 is the next one. And sometimes people ask me what I'll build next, or they'll give me ideas. Like often people will say build a house, build a castle, and build a base. And I keep saying that I don't have a house because I don't need a house. Look, we're standing in the rain, and we don't care, right? So, I mean, according to the logic of Minecraft, rain doesn't matter. So I don't need a roof over my head, if that makes sense. I mean, I got my storage, and then I got my food facilities and all that, so I don't need a house. Like, there's no one else in the whole world. It's not like I need somewhere to keep my stuff. The whole world is my stuff. So that's Minecraft logic. And that's the same logic that has meant that I haven't built any houses, any villages, any cities, or anything like that. Up until right now, I'm building a skyscraper and a village, but that's because there are NPCs, and so according to Minecraft logic, NPCs need a village. And so I'm not even building a village for me, right? I'm building it for the NPCs. I don't know if that, like, I don't know if it even matters to you guys. Whether, how I justify the things I build and the things I don't build, but anyway. When you give your suggestions, I guess what I would like is if you keep that in mind. Like, keep my philosophy in mind. Oh, by the way, the rain actually falls above the clouds, if you didn't know before. Yeah, so keep in mind my strange logic about, doing things that make sense in Minecraft, and not necessarily in the real world. Things that make sense in the real world but not in Minecraft, I'm not that interested in. Things that make sense in Minecraft but doesn't make sense in the real world, I'm okay with that. Kind of. So I don't... it's a bit abstract, right? Like, what does that mean then, if you want to build a village? I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, the villages have professions, or they have different skins at least. I don't know, they don't behave any differently, but there's like, what, blacksmiths, I think, and then priests, and normal villagers, and I don't know what else. So they at least pretend to have jobs. I don't know if that means I'll build those particular facilities. so that they can pretend to work in those houses or whatever it is. Maybe that's what it means by Minecraft logic. And just wow, this is turning out bigger than I imagined. Let's just stop for a moment and consider how big this is. We are way above the world. We can see the limit, like the rendering limit. That's the crystal tower over there. We're at 194. Yeah, so we're only twice as high as the crystal tower. We still have another 64 blocks or so to go before we reach the height limit. That's insane. That is crazy. Yeah, and then maybe you can start to see why I chose to make the building that big. Because look at the proportions of this thing. Imagine if it was only like half as big. It would just look like a giant pencil, you know? It's so thin. Whereas having it that big, it still looks pretty thin, I think. Well, we'll see when we get back down and look at the thing after we've finished building the frame. But I think it'll still look pretty thin. But if you make like a really skinny tower up to like a really tall, like if you build a really tall and really skinny tower, it looks a bit strange, I think. Just cause it's not, it doesn't seem right. Unless you were the Combine in Half-Life 2, in which case you are awesome. Next one is 209. And you can see I'm using up all the stone, and I don't have enough stone. Okay. Yeah, I'm using all the stone and ladders on just one of these things. I have to build 16 of them. So again, it's gonna be a really resource intensive project. No, I need to build 25 of them. Oh damn. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use a lot of materials here. What did I say? 207? No, 209, sorry. 7, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. This is a huge project. I mean, the sheer scale of this project is bigger than most of the things I've done, with the exception of the wall, maybe. I mean, it might actually rival the wall in terms of volume or the number of blocks, just because it's so tall. I don't know if I want to do a lot of this. Like, big projects are cool, but they just take so long. I don't know. Anyway, next level is 225. And the viewing distance, like the viewing limit, I don't really like that either. I don't know. I mean, modern games, they figured out ways to, render huge distances, and they just reduce the they reduce the geometry or the complexity of the geometry if it's further away, and then by doing that you can render like really long distances. Minecraft doesn't have any of that, and so you can't really see it very far. It doesn't look very good from up here, does it? Look at that. I mean, if there's one problem with, well, there's plenty of problems with Minecraft, but one of the problems, I guess, it's the graphics engine. I mean, it's in Java, so I guess, I mean, then what can you do with Java? But still, I don't know. Maybe one day they'll figure it out. But if they can improve that, I'd be very happy. You know, that, like you can see the... Yeah, that's not very good. Like, it looks good when you're on the ground because you usually can't see very far when you're on the ground. Like, the horizon is not as obvious, and you have hills and trees and things to kind of get in the way, so you don't notice this. But once you're up high and you can see the distance, then that's not very good. Anyway, 225, so we got one more level. And yeah, I don't think I have enough stone, unfortunately. Alright, 226. Next one is 241. What else do I have to say? Not much, really. I think I've laid out my ideas. Well, I'll clarify it at the end of this set of videos. I don't know how long it will be. Oh crap, I forgot this. Ladders. Yeah, I'll clarify... Ouch. Clarify what I intend to do, and of course it can change. I don't have to do, you know, just what I first think about. But I'll lay out the general plans. Like, there's the frame, which I'm going to finish by the end of this set. There's the foundations, which I'm gonna do next. And then the circulation. So 241, okay, this is the level. So the circulation, which is the staircase